So I think I'm someone who, because my practice is socially engaged, I'm often working with people and within sort of situations in a kind of an events-based landscape, or it's action, like creative actions within, sort of a public realm. So for me, the thing that I've needed to do and to continue to sort of think about because of the pandemic is how to sort of transpose that type of working into a digital realm. Yeah. And I guess the thing that I would say, the thing that's been most helpful is to sort of pivot the works around something which I would consider to have like really good resonance, like something that feels resonant of a thing that I would work with anyway, but also something that exists in physical space. So in this case, it's voice, sort of voices and words of the women that I interviewed. But also, I think I'm sort of doing things I'm doing actions and then sort of recording them and then so it's kind of this iterated process of things in the real and digital and real and digital. Yeah, so far. So I think I would like to say it's been a real honor in every way, and also a really amazing opportunity, to work with so many artists in so many countries, and also just like places that I've never worked before. So I've never had the opportunity to work with artists in the Ukraine before. I've never had the opportunity to work on a project which was led by TU or a Ukrainian organization. So that for me has been really amazing. Yeah, I think in terms of challenge, I think the challenge kind of comes alongside that. In other words, like we only met digitally. So there's certain types of sort of, this is like a really short, maybe not the most exciting analogy, but like the water cooler type conversations, like over coffee or at the, in a kind of a UK equivalent, like you'd go to a cafe or you'd go to a pub afterwards and you'd have you just have like a blether or a natter, you'd have something informal conversations. That I think has been a challenge in the sense that because it becomes harder to find it just becomes harder to find all the connections and all the ways in which everyone kind of actually has all these similarities. In other words, we know that we have all these similarities because we get on great and are doing, hopefully great things, but we don't have the opportunity to find that out informally. So I think I'm really interested I do a lot of work with people's voices with sort of direct, what you'd call almost verbatim theater, or just direct, using kind of conversations and people's own language to describe something as a kind of a base for the work, whatever the work looks like. So I think that's probably, that kind of aligns with things I've done before. I think the thing that's maybe different is that this project is also a way of trying to make visible or even process aspects of the pandemic, and this is, I mean, just personally as well, like to how do we make all of the incredible complexity of this time, how do we unpack some of that and also make it more human? I guess I've just been trying to, honestly, the simpler answer to your question is probably I've been trying to figure out like how we sort of care for each other and how we exhibit and demonstrate care in a time where we can't hug or touch or, be together, gather physically. Well, I was really privileged to be sort of involved in a really small way with the visioning of this project, or the kind of original conversations about the project. And also we had a really nice sort of, as much as someone can, sort of get to know each other over Google Apps. We had a nice kind of, sort of fun bonding while writing the application, a couple of moments anyway. I didn't do much, but a little bit. So I think I think the project that I have been working on kind of came straight from those conversations, those initial formative conversations, with yourself and with Diana and with Vera and with, all of the other partners and the other artists who were involved at that stage. And I think I'm really interested and have been really interested in how we sort of make visible or make more visible the kind of experiences and voices of women who've been involved in particular places, particular roles within the pandemic response. There's been a lot of media coverage, I think, over the last 9 months about women's care burden and about, key workers broadly. But I think one thing that it's still important to think about, and also to find more ways to hear and understand, is people's own experience of the pandemic, how that kind of translates both from a professional world to a personal world, and how we can all learn from those experiences about how we process this. I think, these are things that we'll be thinking about for a really long time, and the kind of, the waves of impact of this time will continue in our worlds, I think, quite personally. So yeah, I've been interested in just hearing from people who were really very involved in a sort of a frontline way. And also, I think, the other answer to your question is that I wanted to understand their experiences better, but I also wanted to honor their contributions. Yeah, in a tiny way, in a way that I can.